Well. We are looking at the next game, which is going to be Singapore Poly versus ITE College Central now. Oh man.
Alma mater.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just have to.
Yeah.
FC3 chicken rice. The chicken rice from FC3 is extremely scrumptious. You guys should check it out. But hey, you know, chicken rice and food out of the way. Pizza's already gone. I probably ate the boxes at the same time. It was so good licking out the cheese out of that box. But let's focus on game.
ITE College Central have a player called Fried Pigeon.
I think you recognize him, right?
Sounds familiar.
Guys. Yep, they another tournament they called themselves Pigeon and Friends. Yeah,
Pigeon and Friends.
You probably remember that.
Are
one.
they the are they the full list? Okay, bread kind of seems familiar.
Actually,
I believe
it's
bread?
just fried pigeon and bread.
Oh, just fried pigeon bread.
I think
okay,
it's
so,
just fried pigeon and
so
bread.
Jun, Chu, and Dragon Master Ultimate. Okay, Dragon Master Ultimate, I definitely don't quite
Yeah.
remember him. But the thing is, it does seem like they are in the same squad in the end. So I don't know. I have a really bad memory, so I really hope that you guys forgive me if Dragon Master Ultimate was really in Pigeon and Friends in the end. But for now, Fried Pigeon, you've got my attention. Make sure you give us some good plays. But let's take a look at the bands now with Ling, Luoyi, Uranus, and maybe
Oh no.
Esmeralda?
Alright, okay, so for those who actually watched the Singapore Polytechnic qualifiers, we realized that in order for Singapore Polytechnic, this team, Team Spirits actually, in order to win this team, you have to take away two very key heroes. That is, first of all, the Sicilian in the hands of Snow. And if I'm not mistaken, it was, I can't remember for a moment, Sage with the Wan Wan? But I remember Snow with the Sicilian is used to great effect. So if you take those out, Singapore Polytechnic won't be able to react properly. But ITE College Central, this time around, they did not do their homework. They did not ban the Wan Wan or the, the Sicilian. So hopefully they'll be able to pick that one, but
Well,
I'm not really sure.
Maybe they're really not one tricks after all. Perhaps
Yeah.
like they definitely have a wide arsenal of heroes
They're
that they
not
can
showing,
play.
and they literally bamboozled me during the interview.
Yeah.
I've got no
and
idea.
maybe they have half truth in there. Maybe
Yeah.
what they mean by half like one trick is that they play that hero very well, like better than all the other
There you go.
heroes.
Wan Wan is picked by Singapore Polytechnic. That's actually
Wang.
oh fine. But anyways, looking at ITE College Central, looking at the draft of ITE College Central, it's the hands of Fried Pigeon to be picking right now, and well, Atlas is taken away by Singapore Polytechnic team. So it's up to ITC College Central to be able. Maybe we'll expect a Digi if they're not going to go for a lot of Purify, but instead they're going to go for a Lunox instead.
So we have the kind of like the same thing again, whereby Lunox will be at the bottom lane and Selena as well as the Kufra will be in the middle lane. So we have yet to see a qualifying hyper carry coming in from ITE College Central just yet. Hayabusa, Hellcat, Yi Sun Shin, Claude. In fact, not a lot of people has been picking Claude nowadays. So it's really more about Granger, Carry as well as Bruno now.
Yeah, it's a little bit odd because don't forget, Claude, not really much has changed for the patch, but maybe perhaps there are better people to pick, such as Yi Sun Shin used at very good efficiency, as we can see in Odia Bambi. In fact, he was also being banned in one of the first few matches in today's stream. But then again, it's up to Singapore Polytechnic to be banning. They'll be taking away the land slot, therefore securing, make sure that Wan actually is safe from any form of attack. But don't forget, ITE College Central with the Selena will be trying to pick off whoever's going to be controlling Wan. And also, Fried Pigeon, maybe with the Lunox, the main target is looking at Wan. However, once Wan with the crossbow attack is up, they'll be able. She goes invulnerable, so she can just basically shoot everyone at Heart's content.
Well, with Bauman being the one that's going to be picked by ITE College Central, which is kind of understanding. Most people are starting to pick up Bauman a little bit more due to the amount of damage, as well as, most importantly, the lifesteal, survivability, as well as literally all the mobility that coming in that Bauman is able to give out. Snow is going to be shadow peeking onto the Sicilian. Like you said, it does seem like they do prefer the Sicilian as well as their 1-1 going about. And the last pick is going to be Esmeralda, which is kind of weird because they have left Esmeralda to pick for the last. So, all in all, We've got Singapore Poly that will be working with an Xbox in the top lane, very likely. We do have Uranus.
Being banned, actually.
Okay,
Uranus
yep.
banned off.
So top lane is going to be Xbox, bottom lane is going to be Esmeralda. Can be
Two
swapped.
off-laners.
Yep, two off-laners. Middle lane, understandably, Sicilian as a support. We do have the Uranus, the Atlas being a tank, and finally a hyper carry 1-1
That's
for ITE College Central. Nothing out of the ordinary.
Oh.
I mean, it's kind of
Something is not ordinary because if you can see, the screen is gone. There is no Purify.
Oh no.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we're not seeing a Purify on the other side. Most of them packing all the flickers, and
Yeah.
they're not even packing a Diggy all along. We saw what happened to Roger. I need to bring that up. Donbury, if I'm not mistaken, Donbury is Roger. He did not. He went for the Retribution instead of the Purify.
Correct.
That costed him going up against an Atlas. And don't forget, you have on Singapore Polytechnic side, they have the Sicilian.
In the meantime, Singapore Polytechnic side, they have two Purify. And the only thing that they have to, there are a few things that they can escape from. For example, is going to be Tyrant's Rage as well as Abyssal Arrow. So it is quite a easy decision for them to make. There really is not a lot of CCs coming in from Team ITE College Central for them to get out of. So, well, I'm really interested to see how this game is going to unfold, who is going to get the early stages of the game. But as it is, and the way I see it right now, I would definitely say that ITE College Central may have the upper hand solely because of the fact that they have a Selena as well as a Lunox.
Brad using Selena quite well in previous tournaments. We've seen the accuracy is almost impeccable. But don't forget, the SP actually has picked out heroes that can scale in the late game. So if ITE College Central were to bring this to the late game, they'll face monsters such as Snow. They have monsters such as Sapu as well. These will scale incredibly powerful at the late game. Whereas for ITECC side, well, Lunox technically can be kind of powerful in the mid game, but then Brad will fall off as a Selena. Brad will turn into more of a support. So therefore, I respect SP picking up two Purifiers on top of Snow because Snow have to stay alive as long as possible. So that is just in my opinion, just to prevent Brad to be landing on top of that, on top of the Abyssal Arrow. But YSS being picked from ITE College Central, yes, he is also very powerful as well. So, like what you said. So, as the Atlas needs to target down Chu with the YSS, provided that he can actually land it down.
It does seem like a failed gank coming in from ITE College Central. They were unable to capture Pharaoh. That is going to be hurdling himself up in the top lane. But in the meantime, it does seem like we do have kind of like a fight going on in the bottom lane. Selena tried to get a stun in, and in fact trying to get a kill onto the 1-1 as well as the Atlas. Here's something interesting though. It does seem like Team SP, they went for 1-2-2. I don't know if whether I got that right or not, but it kind of seems like it's going to be that way. Sage trying to get himself away from all of that, but unfortunately the ultimate coming in from Bauman is going to set him in place and immediately melt him down straight away. With Kufra bouncing ball in, as well as the final shot in the face of Sicilian. ITE College Central has gained themselves with the first 3 kills within a fraction of a minute, rather, and they're looking pretty well. It does seem like my prediction kind of went in the right way.
Well, technically, in the early game, ITE College Central does have the advantage. They have Brad, they have Lunox, basically, as we're slowly creeping to the mid-game already. And look at how aggressive ITECC is playing True, looking very low. Now, it feels like the aggression is biting them back, as Snow will be able to melt down True as he tries to escape. But I think he tried to dash over the wall, it does not work. But to be honest with you, early game, I'm expecting ITECC to be winning. But as you slowly and surely reach the late game, where you have Snow scaling out uncontrollably. Oh, nice stun coming up from Brad, stunning down as he's trying to look down at Snow. But don't forget, that dash misses. The stun goes down from Sage as Brad. Bad misplay as Snow still walks out alive. The Purify being popped at the very last moment right here. Sage will be able to walk out of that. What can a Kufra do to an Esmeralda?
Absolutely nothing. That's what I can tell you. But it does seem like their main purpose is to evade, or rather to redirect the Esmeralda as well as Sicilian away and to someplace else. And it does seem like they managed to do it. ITE College Central has stolen away the opponent's purple buff, and they have now redirected themselves back at the turtle, looking to be pretty good as well. We do have the fatal links coming from Soul capturing down onto Selena, as well as the fact that 1-1 gets the kill onto Kufra. Singapore Poly is now catching up in terms of kills, but not yet on the net worth. Chu in the middle lane trying to defend, or rather trying to get as much farm as possible. It is still rather early for us to say who's gotten themselves better in these in the second part of this game, which is the mid stages of the game. Darkening as well as the Chaos Assault just gonna be, well, lighting Snow up in darkness and brings him down.
Yeah, so ITECC, they are packing a very aggressive early game. They packed up a Selena, but this time around the Selena is a 0-2-3. That's kind of not a position that a Selena wants to be in the early game, because you want to be that assassin that takes away key targets and then getting out of there swiftly, or at least get a kill before you die, as Red will be playing a little bit more of a support right now, getting very nice stun. Don't forget, Sapu has technically a built-in Purify as a Wang Wang. However, Sage looking a little bit trouble right here, but Snow landing bad impact after bad impact at the same time. Oh, Sage will have to go down.
The snipe coming from Yu Sushin definitely managed to help Esmeralda meet her maker. And just like that, even though she tried to get himself away with the falling Star Moon, he wasn't able to evade from that skill shot. So, well played coming from Chu. But in the meantime, let us take a look at the bottom lane. It does seem like the Abyssal Arrow is just going to be landing immediately onto the heads of Sapu. He did try to get himself away from all of that with his second skill, but the amount of effort, the amount of damage coming from Fried Pigeon and Bread themselves is way too much for him to handle. And now, ITE College Central has, well, credited himself with a little bit more kills and now putting themselves in a net worth of a total of 16,000.
Yeah, and literally, you saw how Fried Pigeon is just taunting SP with lots of emotes right there, and the bait pulled off as Soul goes in with eject. He picks up, he's able to melt down Sapu like he never existed. But at the same time, don't forget, Snow can wave clear very nicely with a bad impact. And I don't know, it just feels like ITECC has to end the game as early as possible, or SP will be able to walk out of it. And don't forget, every minute goes by, Snow will be able to stack as much that stack that he has as possible. So definitely ITECC playing on the timer, but I just hope that their hyper aggression in the early game. Oh, I take that back.
It doesn't seem like, in the end, it does seem like they did manage to get a kill onto the 1-1. But for now, ITE College Central, none of them have went down just yet, even though they have a major suppression, or rather a major domination at the bottom lane. They're just killing the enemies right under the nose of the turrets. Yet another Abyssal Arrow lands on top of the heads of Snow. He goes straight in. Brent gets himself out with a flicker. That is pretty much almost a full team wipe. And now it is a full team wipe.
Well, Atlas respawning a little bit awkward right there. Like, hey, where did my team go? But at the same time, it's just ITECC hyper aggression finally paid off. They're not allowing SP to scale uncontrollably. Don't forget, they have to end this game right here, right now. And look at the damage coming out from Fried Pigeon right here. As as Sapu is forced on a retreat, it really cannot play against such an aggressive team. If ITECC, they know that they have to end this game right here, right now, as they'll be heading atop of that mid lane turret.
But you know what the thing about it, I can't remember where exactly Esmeralda was laning at, and that is kind of something that I would want to point out and look at it in the later stages of the game. We'll have a little bit of a discussion on that one. But for now, we're looking at ITE College Central. They are just immediately for Fried Pigeon. He's just in front of their base and he's just knocking right at our doors. Snow with a slip of health, he will be able to get himself with a decent amount of distance away from the opponent. We do have also the Falling Star Moon putting himself and the rest of the opponent's team into the coffin, and with that, the final nail to the coffin, the entirety of SP goes straight down with a triple kill to Brett's name. Is it Brett or was it Chu's name? And just like that, 8 minutes in, ITE College Central have gotten the control of the core with no way for SP to turn things around.
8 minutes in, we finally saw a crossbow attack. I don't believe we actually seen any crossbow attack being popped off. I would.
That was
have,
the fight.
That was the
that was the
that
first
was
crossbow
the first
attack.
crossbow and the last crossbow attack, and even before the animation ended, the game already ended, and that is just very painful in the face of SP. They thought that they can turtle up, they can outscale in the late game, but ITECC had the other mentality. They're just gonna, you know what, I'm gonna be super aggressive, and you can see how reckless they are. And SP did not identify that, hey, you know, they're playing reckless, and they tried to fight. And don't forget, their team composition is weak early game. They're not very strong at the late. They're not very strong in the early game, but on the side of ITECC, they have the stronger early game, and they identify that. They ended the game within like, what, 8 minutes? To be honest with you guys, if you guys follow us on last week where we watched the Singapore Polytechnic qualifiers, Spirits, or basically Team SP right here, they end game within 10 minutes, almost for 4 games in a row. But now, they finally had the taste of their own medicine.
I would say that, okay, let's just dive in onto a really short analysis and to understand why Spirits has gotten themselves in this place. Do you remember from their previous gameplays, do they actually rock with 1-2-2?
My impression, no, they don't. They rotate very quickly. They don't really stay in lane. If you notice, it's just these three with the Wen. Snow with the Sicilian, Sapu with the Wen, and Atlas. These 3 people are the 3 musketeers that goes around. Esmeralda and the Xbox are there just to hold on, while these 3 just rotate very aggressively. But it feels like they are trying to match Team Gaius' aggression. I would say that just this time around, SP, they failed to identify that, hey, I actually have a weaker late game, so I shouldn't try to rotate as much. They need to stack up as much gold as possible on top of the Wen. But Wen, as of now, is too weak to fight in the early game.
Right. So in the end, it kind of seems as though, at least to me, I can't really remember their entire laning phase, but it kind of seems as though that
They don't really have a laning phase, to be honest.
I mean, it's kind of iffy for me because okay, so
yeah.
understandably, right?
Because-
Esmeralda does very well holding and just anchoring a lane all by
That's
her
right.
own, but I don't quite remember her having her own, spotlight in the bottom lane because Xbox has been in the top lane the whole time, right?
That's right.
Xbox has pretty much been there the whole time doing his job, which is defending the turret, and I think that he did well in that extent,
That's
whereby he did so well to the point that he's
did
been
push.
outshadowed the entire time.
That's right.
No, we didn't really have anything about him because he's just doing his job. As a fighter, stay at the top lane, defend the turret, maybe just, kind of rotate yourself to the middle lane, help out a little bit here and there, and go back up to the top lane. But for what I remember, the most of the time that I remember is that Atlas and 1-1 has been in the bottom lane. And Sicilian is in the middle lane together with Esmeralda. So I'm not too sure about the Esmeralda and Sicilian part, but I remember very well that Atlas and the 1-1 has been in bottom lane for quite a decent amount of time. And that was even before 3 minutes, with no sight of Esmeralda, with no sight of Sicilian as well. If Esmeralda is somewhere around, together with Sicilian, yes, I can understand that they try to go for a full, an all-out push, or rather they try to destroy or kill someone in bottom lane. But I don't remember seeing that. I remember someone is in middle lane.
To be honest with you, Abstract, in my opinion, it feels like Team Gaius with the hyper-aggression, I don't call them as aggressive. They are hyper-aggressive. I've never seen, we don't really see very aggressive plays coming out of from our teams, but Team Gaius, or basically ITECC right here, they just being so hyper-aggressive, they have forced the laning phase. That's why you don't really see a laning phase. That's why all you see are fights happening over and over and over and over again because of how hyper-aggressive Team Gaius is. And therefore, because of that, I believe SP was like, okay, you know what? I don't think we can take this early game fight. They tried to macro it up. They tried to turtle down. So maybe that's why you see the Esmeralda going to the top lane to kind of help Snow, to support Snow, whereas Wen and Atlas will be at the bottom lane. But don't forget, because of how Team Gaius, they're just, pummeling
They're very reactive
They
as
are
well.
very... They just know how to take very... I don't know, it's just...
They just have a wrecking ball on them at any time.
A wrecking ball that might hit back at them, but at this point of time, it actually benefit them. Initially, you see a few fights, you think that actually SP had the upper hand. In fact, there's this one point of time where SP actually got the upper hand, but then in terms of the gold lead, Team Gaius is still there, even though they took very bad trades. But I feel like it's just how Team Gaius work. They're hyper-aggressive. Like, I've been repeating this point over and over. They're super aggressive, and they're here to wreck your team composition. and that's what they did in this very fight.
Right. So in the end, I would say that Team Gaia's, or rather from ITE College Central, they have a strong early game composition.
That's right. They
Imagine,
identified that.
imagine them fighting against Team RP,
Yeah.
who is strong in the later games because they know how to macro, they know how to kind of turtle up,
Yep.
and they usually just turn that way. Because from the lineup of Team IT College Central, they had like Selena, Lunox, and Lunox.
Very
like,
early game matchup.
Yes, correct. So they have the early game magic damage bursts, and that is just kind of the thing that will just push everyone away.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
If as long as the team knows how to turtle about, they knows how to pick pick good trades as well as singling out one player after another one. That would usually be what helps a late game composition. Bring forward their late game into the mid game just so that they their hyper carry can go online a little bit faster than normal.
Yeah, but this is Exhibit A, where you have a late game composition going up against early game with SP with the late game composition, whereas Team Guys have the early game composition. And, well, we know Masara from Team RP, they are late game. So, Exhibit A says that, hey, Team Guys knows how to fight against people who can scale or play a late game composition. Now, what is Team RP going to do? That's something we should find out.
There's definitely something we'll find out, which could be for next week, and I believe that might
Not
be
sure.
the grand finals. But the question is, will they hit the grand finals? I'll think that they are one of the
I think they
crowd
are.
favorites, so I will just safely say that we will be looking at them in the grand finals. But how would they be fighting against each other if they're going to be fighting against each other?
That's right.
So for now, we're just going to go right on ahead to a short break, and we will feature with you guys the last game, game number 5, best of 1 as well. After a really short break, we'll let you know which game we're covering. We'll see you.